Hey everybody, Ben here at We Did It. So excited to introduce everyone to the We Did It platform today. I want to give us just 3, 4, 5 more minutes for a couple more people to show up. We're missing about 5 or 6 folks. So I'm just going to go ahead and mute myself for about 3 or 4 more minutes until we get a couple more people on board, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Thanks, man.
Okay, it looks like everyone is here and we're ready to get started. So let me go ahead and allow Teresa to jump in and start with introductions.
Great, thanks. Listen, I wanted to welcome everyone to the seminar to really learn about We Did It and welcome all the projects. We are going to be recording this, so we will post it. We will archive it and post it on a new page that we're creating on the project login site on our website called Webinars. So you'll easily be able to find it, and we'll do that after the webinar so that you can either watch it again or your team can also access the webinar at any point in time. I'm glad you all could make it here today. You know, I want to just start by giving a little bit of background to this project. You know, at Community Initiatives, I and the team, we've all heard loud and clear from projects. I mean, from day one that I started this job, probably the first thing I heard was how dissatisfied our current projects are with our individual fundraising platform through Network for Good. What I heard consistently from everyone is too many clicks, too hard for donors to find projects. They had to know the exact legal name of the project, and that projects did not have immediate access to their data and accounts. And at Christmas time, this always became a big problem because, you know, sometimes the CI staff wanted to be off for Christmas, but we had to be reporting back to some projects about their donors. So these were the complaints we heard pretty consistently. So Galen and I and some of his team started thinking about how we were going to make this change and find a new provider about 6 months ago. Galen hired a consultant named Linda, and he and Linda were working on benchmarking and identifying any potential software companies who could solve some of these problems, the biggest one being access to data and accounts. Because as a fiscal sponsor, most of these software programs are really set up for one nonprofit. And we're a nonprofit, but with 100 different cost centers and projects. So it was very hard to find a software program that could deliver to this kind of unique business structure. So I got out of the blue, I just got a straight email one day, and it was from We Did It. I normally throw those away, and for some reason I didn't. I read it, and I thought it was intriguing, learning about their fundraising platform and what they were doing, and so I set up a meeting. And at the meeting, I said, I have only one question, And I said, you know, I explained what fiscal sponsorship was and our business structure, and I said, can you offer our projects access to their data immediately in real time? And they said, our current platform doesn't do that, but we're willing to make that happen for you. And I said, okay, then let's talk. And passed them on to Galen and Linda, and they took over. And they continued to benchmark to make sure that, you know, We Did It was the right business partner, but it became very clear the more we worked with We Did It in setting them up, vetting them, making sure they were the right partner, that we had made the right selection. What we liked about them was they were a fundraising software company that is data-driven. They really understand the data and the science behind individual fundraising. They've set up technology to provide all the tools that are state-of-the-art today in fundraising, from campaigns, peer-to-peer, crowdsourcing, using your mobile phone. All of those are part of the We Did It platform. What we also liked is that they had experience working with nonprofits, so they weren't, you know, just in the for-profit world. They had a lot of experience working with nonprofits, and there were some pretty significant nonprofits and some small nonprofits, so we also liked that as well. They also seemed, you know, to be very responsive whenever we raised questions, and we've worked with them very closely. Galen and Linda and now Gian have worked with them very closely, and they've been very responsive to all the questions. All the times we've pushed, challenged, said this won't work, they've always come back with responsive, creative solutions. So we've been very impressed with them as a partner. The other thing we really liked about them was we went on their website and looked at what they did and spoke with some of their clients. We also heard consistently that they have great customer service. They take customer service seriously. So they not only have consultants that help with the technical aspects of their program, but they have fundraising consultants that are going to be also available to our projects. And they have a growing extensive library of training materials, which are also, you also can access on their site as well. And when you go on their site, you'll see that instantly this little chat box kind of, you know, shows up and asks you if you want help. So, you know, we thought that was also good for our projects. So we, you know, we just, all the vetting, everything we did said this is the right partner. They invested along with us to tailor and alter their fundraising software so it could work with a business like ours, so that projects can get access to their own individual fundraising data instantly in real time, and that they can also really look and understand the effectiveness of using social media for individual fundraising. So we're excited to sponsor them, work with them, and we're excited to introduce you to Ben and Mark. And the fact that Ben Lamson, who's the co-founder of We Did It, is here delivering this live webinar also speaks volumes to me just about what kind of great partner they're going to be. I also just want to take a minute to thank the CI team, who've really put in countless hours both doing all the vetting, researching, and working with Ben and his team to make this happen, make this rollout happen, webinar happen, and make the partnership happen. And that's Galen, Gian, and our consultant, Linda. So Ben, over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Teresa. On the line with me as well, listening in so he can make sure he's here for all of your questions and ready to work with you all, is my colleague Mark Shreve, our Director of Client Success. Mark, I'm going to unmute you here just so you can say hi. Mark, are you there with us? Okay, it looks like Mark's having some microphone problems, but he is here in the room. He does say hello to everyone. He will be listening in and listening for everyone's questions.
Here we go. If you can hear me, everybody, hello. I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to answer your questions, but I'll hand it back to Ben.
Great. So, folks, just some really quick housekeeping items. Before we get started here, I want to talk a bit about the process, kind of what the agenda is for today. First and foremost, you'll notice in the GoToWebinar, you do have the ability to raise your hand at any time. Please, if you have any problems hearing or if there's any audio or visual difficulties, please use the raise hand feature so I can make sure I pause, check in with you, and make sure I get you right back on the page with us here. So today, kind of the agenda for our webinar, I really want to talk about a bit about just We Did It, our mission, our approach to fundraising, tell you a bit about our background. Then I want to give you a demo of the software itself, kind of give you the ins and outs of the features. And then I actually want to walk you through what it'll be like for you folks to set up your fundraising page, your fundraising account with We Did It under the Community Initiatives umbrella. And then we're going to open it up to questions. As I said, if there are any audio or visual difficulties during the webinar, please raise your hand. Also, as I go through, do not be afraid to ask questions during the webinar. Depending on their relevance or importance, I may choose to answer them at the end. I will get to every question, but I prefer that you ask them during the webinar in case it's extremely relevant and poignant, and I think it's important for everyone to hear at that moment that I'd like to address it. But if I don't address it right away, don't freak out. I will answer every single question by the end of the webinar. Okay? So let me start by telling you a little bit about We Did It. We are based in beautiful Brooklyn, New York. We've been around for about 4 years now, and we work with nearly 500 organizations around the country. Our clients really do range in size and in type, as Teresa said. So we work with big organizations like Amnesty International. We work with the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Zoo, and then all the way down to small, hyper-local organizations like St. Xavier High School, which definitely has just a 6-figure budget. Now, our big goal as a company is to make fundraising more efficient through technology. We take really a data-driven approach to fundraising, and that data-driven approach applies to both data that kind of proves what is the best approach to increasing the likelihood of your donors donating, what's going to offer them the best donation experience, but then also offering valuable data and insights to you folks as fundraisers, giving you the data you need to make the best fundraising decisions possible. So really what I want to start with here is showing you just our basic donation page. We're going to start by taking a look here at the Los Angeles Zoo's website. So we white label our technology. What that means is from a donor's perspective, they never leave your website. So that means if you have your own website, as a part of Community Initiatives, if you have your own website, we can actually skin our software to look just like your website. And if you do not have your own website, if you're operating under Community Initiatives website, your donation page will match their website. So let's take a look here. We go to the LA Zoo's website. We click Make a Donation. We're going to get brought to their donation page. Now, you'll notice that the header here, everything still works. This is completely dynamic. But if you look up at the URL, you'll notice we're actually hosting it. It'll make a bit more sense as we go forward why we host it, but a lot of it has to do with giving you folks control over the content of the page, as well as being able to quickly and easily provide you the valuable traffic and analytical data about your donation page. Now, as I said, we take a data-driven approach to fundraising. So there is a very good reason why our donation process is 3 steps, and in this exact order. You'll notice this 3-step process breaks down to how much would you like to donate. You can either check a default amount or enter in your own amount. How frequently would you like to donate? And whether or not you'd like to cover the merchant fees. That's the first step. Second step, seamless transition to it, is your personal information. And then the last step is credit card information. Now, this 3-step donation process in this order is actually based on a case study that was released by the team that built President Obama's fundraising platform during his re-election. They A/B tested a 3-step donation process versus having all of the form fields on one page. And what they found was the 3-step process increased donation conversions by 15%. 15%, okay? So we are all about what's going to increase the likelihood of the donor donating. Now, what you'll also notice, if I go down here and grab the lower right-hand corner of this page, and I make this page smaller, you'll notice that the content on the page responds to the size of the screen. This is called responsive design. Okay? Responsive design increases donation conversions by an additional 36%. Now, this is also where that three-step process really matters, because this is basically your iPhone screen. And the three-step process allows you to keep everything on one screen without forcing your donors to scroll around. So this itself is basically the opposite of daunting, right? It's really easy on the eyes. It does not look like I have to go through a lot to donate. We're still capturing the same amount of data, but I don't have to go through a lot to actually capture that data. So it's about making a really, really user-friendly, easy donation process. Okay. Now, so that's some of the science of giving, but we're also really big on the art of giving. So we have what's called a post-purchase experience. Or really, it's a post-donation experience. The post-donation experience allows you to customize the confirmation screen and thank your donors in one of two unique ways. So there's a little shortcut to getting there, as opposed to actually making a donation, which I'm not going to do today to the LA Zoo. I'm just going to type in the thank you, which is the URL for the confirmation screen. Now you have one of two options. You see here your contribution has been processed, and then there's an image that pops up. So you can choose any image you'd like, and then you can enable your donors to like you on Facebook, share your donation page on Facebook, directly message friends and family. So I can say, hey, mom, donate to the zoo today. And she would get a Facebook message with a link directly to the first step of their donation page. I can also tweet about the donation page, or I can follow them on Twitter. So the image is nice. You can change it at any time, but it's simple. What's even more fun, we'll look here at Education Works, a client of ours, is actually a video that plays after a donation is made. Now, thanking donors is so crucial. And notice this video plays automatically. We do not need to press play. And I'm pausing it because I have my headphones in here and the music from this video is blasting. But you'll see there's not high production value to this video. It's about authenticity. It's about just saying thank you. Thanking a donor after donating increases the likelihood that they'll give again by 75%. Okay? So we just want to make this really easy. It's about grabbing your iPhone, filming your founder, your ED, right? 15-second slot. Thank you so much for donating. Your generous contribution goes towards, insert blank here. Please consider sharing below on social media to help us reach new donors. So that's really the front-facing piece of the donation page. Now let's hop into the back end and show you how you folks, we're going to give you control over both the content and the data. So this is your backend dashboard. The first thing you see when you log in is the traffic analytics for the last 30 days to your donation page. How many people visited each day, and where are they coming from? So for the LA Zoo, 82% of traffic is coming from their site. That someone comes to the site and then presses the donate button. So this is just a snapshot. What we're actually going to do now is hop over to the dashboard here. Excuse me, the drop down. And you're going to see here that I can go right into my donation page. And folks, I want to say, don't worry. One, we're recording this webinar, but don't worry about taking a lot of notes now. I'm going to go over it more in detail, but we have a lot of resources, a very thorough FAQ with screenshots and videos of how to do everything I'm going to show you today. We even built a special FAQ just for community initiative projects. I'm going to touch base on that shortly once we get into how you folks will build your own pages. But really, I just want to quickly show you some of the functionality and give you an idea of how powerful this software is. So you saw my drop down here. I went into the donation page as an option. The first thing I see is analytics. I can run reports to see traffic and the value per visitor. But then I can go into my settings. And you'll see right here, this box where I can drop in images, where I can change the text at any time. This box here is the same text that you saw on the first step of their donation page. So we're giving you folks full control of customizing each of your donation page, even if you don't have your own website. Even if your donation page is going to be hosted on a community initiative, each one of you will have your own donation page where you can have your own content, your own images, your own copy. Okay. I'll scroll down here. We even allow you to customize the email receipt donors receive after donating. Now your post-donation experience. Either you upload an image or you upload a video. You don't even upload a video, excuse me. You drop in the YouTube URL. And then you can change those default amounts. Okay? So that is your basic donation page. Let me hop back out to this dashboard. So that's really the simple stuff. That's the donation page that's living on your website 24/7. Okay? But then we have campaign-based fundraising. When you think about sending out appeals, when you think about an email appeal or a direct mail appeal, you are putting together a story, you're putting together a message, a framing of why someone should be donating to you at that time. But what all too often is the case is you put together this beautiful framing, this beautiful story, you make this compelling reason of why someone should donate, and then you send them to a really plain Jane donation page. Even this for an appeal is a plain Jane donation page. So you lose that messaging, that story, that framing in the process. And that's why we have campaign-based fundraising, where you can build a fundraiser around a specific topic, initiative, appeal, story. The whole idea here is that you have a deadline and a goal. You're using media content as a centerpiece of the campaign, whether that be a video or a slideshow. Okay? And then you scroll down and you have all that copy that you would most likely have in your email appeal. You have more images. It's about building a very dynamic, compelling fundraising campaign that has a theme. Now you'll notice here we have the ability, you can actually build in and offer rewards to your donors. Building one of these campaign pages can take 15 to 30 minutes. Very, very user-friendly. The thing that takes the longest when building these pages is deciding on things like what should my goal be? What should my video be? What should my copy be? But actually building it itself can be done very seamlessly and easily. Now, so I want to quickly show you some other examples. New Community Jewish High School. You'll notice they just use donation buttons. They also used predominantly images as the body of their campaign. Now you'll notice on this page, Fundraise with Us. That actually is peer-to-peer fundraising. We're going to go over that here shortly. Let's take a look at ArtsWave. ArtsWave, a big nonprofit in Cincinnati, Ohio, just finished a $12 million fundraiser with us. They offered rewards, but they also had peer-to-peer fundraising, where they allowed their key staff and supporters to build their own personal fundraising pages. And this is an example of one of those pages. We allow your supporters to sign up. They'd be clicking that Fundraise with Us button. They create an account. Then all they have to do is upload an image of themselves. They upload their name, and they upload up to 1,200 words of why they're fundraising for you. Excuse me, 1,200 characters of why they're fundraising for you, and they set their own goal. Now, a really neat feature that we'll go over, you actually have the ability to determine what this text is going to be for them. They can edit it, but you can give them suggestion text. But they set their own goal, and that's pretty much it. Everything else on the page is pulled from your master campaign page. So we're giving you still that branding control for all your fundraisers. You don't have to worry about them going off and what kind of video are they going to use, what kind of images are they going to use, because they don't get to do any of that. You control the master branding. They control just their kind of own personal stamp on the page. Peer-to-peer fundraising is such a valuable fundraising tool because 72% of people will give to a fundraising campaign if asked by a friend or family member. Let me pause quickly. It looks like Sol McKinney has their hand up here. Sol, I'm going to quickly unmute you. Sol, are you having an issue or a question?
Great so far. I have a question. I wanted to know if you can integrate data from the donation page into mailing lists and stuff for future campaigns?
If you can integrate data from the, I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I'm not sure if I fully understand, Sol.
Yeah, like if I get new donators through the web page here, can I capture their email addresses and then incorporate that into
Of
MailChimp
course.
for me?
Yes, I'm going to go over that shortly. Yes, you will be able to capture all of their data. We make that really easy for you to export. So very different than Network for Good. You will have you will have ultimate control over capturing and exporting all of that data.
Great, thank you.
Yep. And just a quick note, no problem here, guys, because I probably wasn't clear. Please use the question box because I want to be able to record all of these questions. Anyone that asks a question via typing will actually be able to record that for future. So use that. Raise your hand if you have technical problems going forward. The hand for just for technical, use the question box for asking questions so we can record those questions so other folks will be able to see the questions and I'll actually be able to answer those going forward. But great question, Sol. I'm actually going to go over contributions shortly. Let me show you folks here. Again, I want to talk about responsive design and how beautiful these pages look on a mobile screen. That's your iPhone. So completely responsive. We're going to go over same with the peer pages. To be completely frank, guys, I actually think the peer pages look better on mobile than they do on they do on computer screens. I love the way these look on mobile. So just wanted to highlight again how important this responsive design is. For those that don't know, 51% of emails are now answered and made on mobile phones. 65% of all online searches are made on mobile phones. So very important to have responsive design. Okay, now we're actually going to take a look at the We Did It mobile app. So for those of you that have ever taken donations in person, you've probably experienced the headache of maybe tools like Square or PayPal because they do not collect any donor data. Well, the We Did It mobile app allows you to securely sign in. You can have multiple fundraising initiatives going on at any time that you are designating that donation towards. It's not a designated donation, but you're saying, hey, I want this money to reflect towards this fundraiser. Maybe it's for your golf outing. Maybe it's for your annual fund. However you want that donation to be recorded, you can select that. On this very next screen, as a fundraiser, you will see, oops, let me rewind there quickly. You will actually see how much money is raised for whatever initiative you chose. And then these are actually buttons. You can actually have goods. You can sell t-shirts. You can sell tickets and actually record those sales. Next screen, you can either manually enter in, if you did not select, you can manually enter in an amount. Oops. Sorry about that, folks. I hit the wrong button there. And then you're actually recording the data from the person you're taking the donation from. This is not an app for your donors to download. This is for your friends, your staff members, your volunteers to have on them to take donations on your behalf. Okay. We also use image recognition technology. So let me back this up. You notice this is us asking Bob for his contact information, his billing address. Okay. And then this next step, we do not use that really crummy hardware that doesn't work 80% of the time, like Square and PayPal have. But we use either scan your card or enter it manually. 99% of the time, our clients use the scan your card button. That is image recognition technology to scan the credit card. A very common question we get by fundraisers, no, that image is not actually an image being taken. It is not being stored on the phone anywhere. It is just reading the 16 digits. So that is not being held anywhere. This app was developed with Amnesty International for field canvassers. From a security standpoint, it is built in a way that you could go give it to a complete stranger, and the only thing they can do is take donations on your behalf. A really neat feature about this application is it can be linked to any online campaign. So if you take a donation through the app for $1,000, the thermometer on your fundraising page will move up by $1,000. Okay, really interesting use cases for this. We have clients who actually rent iPads at their galas, and they put an iPad at each gala table. So instead of a pledge card for each donor, they actually use iPads, and 10 people at a table share one iPad. And then they intermittently throughout the evening, they show the progress of the campaign on television screens. Now, really good question came in here from Julie. Julie asks, how do fundraisers tell their friends? How do they promote the campaign? I think is what she's asking here. So we do not integrate with mail services, but each fundraiser actually has their own backend dashboard where they can see who's donated and how much. And then we give them social sharing tools, as well as they each have their own unique URL that they can share on Facebook and on Twitter or directly through email. You folks have your own dashboard where you can see who's donated, who's fundraising for you, what their goal is. And, we have never had a problem to date, but if someone were to have written something defamatory or something that's against your brand, you do have the ability to pull down someone's fundraising page at any time. Okay? So let me hop back into the back end here and talk about some of the functionality. We were just talking about the mobile app. I want to go and you'll see this, it says mobile access. Mobile access is actually a feature that allows you to empower volunteers, staff members, board members to have access to the mobile app without giving them access to the rest of your account. So they can fundraise for you, but they can't get in and mess with your pages, see your donor data, or anything like that. So really, really great feature. Okay. Now I know actually let's hop in here and just show you quickly how easy it is to get someone fundraising for you. First name, last name, email address, and then they will get an email invite where they create their password, and then they can download the app and sign up. Where you download the app, we have all of those resources in your FAQ, which I'm going to go over shortly. Now, I know one of the big pain points or headaches with Network for Good was getting that contribution data. Well, we make that really easy. Every organization has full access to all of the contributions made to any of their fundraisers or their donation page at any time. You can run a report based on the time period and download it to CSV. You can sort through contributions by looking at all of them or just your reoccurring donations, or you can sort through donations by looking at all of them, or you can look at a specific donation portal like your donation page or one of your campaigns. And then we make it really easy for you to export all of this data. Let's go back to the dashboard here. And let's take a look again at some of the data that we're pulling in here for you. One of the things you'll notice is you have your dashboard here for traffic. You can take a snapshot quickly at any time and look at how many people are coming to your donation pages, but any campaign you'd like that's live. And you can say, we want to look at the last 7 days. So this is a snapshot. This is very different than looking at, let's say, a longer date range. So speaking of that, I'd like to now show you campaign fundraising. What I want to quickly do here for you is I want to show you just how you get some of the data. I'm actually going to hop into another account before showing you how to actually go through and how easy it is to actually build a campaign. Okay, so let's look at a current campaign here for the LA Zoo. You can get a snapshot of the amount of money raised. You can see those contributions. And then we give you all the analytics. What's your average visitor worth to your campaign? What's the traffic look like? Run those reports. But again, here's another location where you can download that data. So let me quickly hop out, guys, to a demo account so I can show you how to walk through building a campaign and how easy it is. So we're going to take a current live campaign and walk through it step by step, showing you the options and how user-friendly this is. So let's take I support We Did It. We're going to go in. Now this is an existing campaign, so it's in the interest of time, we're going to have some places that are filled out. I'm actually going to be building an example donation page for you from scratch in just a few minutes. But first, I want to actually show you campaigns. Now, campaigns, everyone as a part of community initiatives, will be required to have a donation page. Not everyone will necessarily use campaigns, but I still want to walk through and show you how easy it is to build out a campaign. It's basically 4 steps. The first step is the title of the campaign. That is actually what is displaying at the top of the page. The second step is a synopsis of the campaign. Then you use their goal, and then fundraising style. Now we offer 2 styles of fundraising. Traditional, which means donations are processed as soon as they come in. Then there's all or nothing. All or nothing is the Kickstarter model. The Kickstarter model is you set a fundraising goal, and then no one is charged until the end of the campaign and only if the fundraising goal is hit. Now, this is not a commonly used feature, but it is one that we do offer. 99.99% of campaigns launched with our technology are launched traditional. Now, you'll also notice this button, Allow Peer Campaigns. It's as simple as this. You check that box if you want to allow individuals to fundraise on your behalf. Now, the second step is extended. Now, there's already some data in here, there's already some content in here, a big image, but the extended portion, this is everything that falls below the video or slideshow. So it's the body of the campaign here. So this is called a WYSIWYG. It stands for what you see is what you get. Okay. We allow for bold, italic, underline. We allow for a few various simple fonts. We have different sizes. You can hyperlink, numbers, bullet points, change the color of the text or the background color, and also upload images. Now, our image uploader is very powerful. You can upload images from your computer using the camera, so that's me, using a URL, Facebook, Google Drive, Dropbox, Instagram, Evernote, Flickr, or OneDrive. But not only can you upload from anywhere, but we actually give you the ability to edit these photos. So if we take a look here at a photo we'll be using later, we can actually crop the photo right within the platform. And then we can resize it right within the platform. So this is that body of your campaign. You scroll down, this is your donation message. This is what happens after someone donates. Then we have a minimum donation. So this is just after someone clicks the donate button, there's a pop-up that asks they donate a minimum of whatever you'd like. And then you have the option to allow donors to donate outside of the preset donation amounts you built. How long would you like your campaign to be? And then the type of campaign. That type of campaign, that is just for our internal use for tracking. And then we actually have the ability for you to list the campaign on our public directory of our website. Okay. Next step. A campaign page image. This is if it gets shared on social media, there's a thumbnail. And then whether you're going to use a YouTube video or a slideshow. Okay. A YouTube video, just as simple as dropping in the YouTube URL. If you're going to a slideshow, you would actually click the slideshow button. You upload a minimum of 3 images and then a caption for each image. So very, very simple to build out a slideshow. Now you obviously can add more than 3 images, but it is a default a minimum of 3. And then the next step is whether you want to offer rewards, which you saw here. Rewards are the Kickstarter model, or donation buttons, which you saw here. With a reward, We Did It actually handles the tax acknowledgement receipt, and that's the receipt that you can customize. But part of that tax acknowledgement receipt is if you offer a reward, our platform does the math and says what the fair, based on the fair market value and the gift size, how much is tax deductible. So you can either use rewards or donation amounts. If rewards is checked, it's the name of the reward, the amount it costs to receive that reward, a description of that reward, the fair market value, so our system can do the math, and then you can actually set up a limited number of rewards of something, and then a thumbnail image. If it's donation amounts, it's the amount of the donation, so we can say $10, $20. Those are just the buttons we're creating. Okay? That is really our last step. From there, your campaign is ready to publish. You can preview it, get the campaign URL, and publish it. So this is a We Did It campaign because it's a demo account, so you'll notice it's hosted on our website. Now, I see a few questions have come in. So I want to quickly take a look at these. Adam, if you could, clarify your question you asked. Is this sign-in only for the asker or for the donor? I believe what you were referring to is the mobile app. So if I'm not answering this question, ask it again. But the sign-in only for the mobile app, that is actually for someone who is fundraising on your behalf. We allow people who just want to fundraise on your behalf through the mobile app to have a sign-in that they can access the mobile app, but not access any other area of the platform or your account. We never require donors to sign in to donate. And then Linda had a really great question going back to the donor data. So let's hop in there. Contributions. Is that the only donor data that is exportable, which is date, campaign title, username, donation state, and source? State is not where they're located. State is whether it's collected, whether it's rejected. Sometimes banks reject donations and whatnot. No, the answer is no. This is just a preview of the data. When you export data from our platform, there is significantly more information, including did the donor leave a message? What platform did the donor donate from? Platform is like the mobile app, mobile web, or from a desktop. Full address included in there. So there are several more data points in the export. But in the interest of not trying to cram all of that data into the user interface, we just show you some of the kind of important relevant data, which is when was the donation made, what was it made to, who made it, how much, is it collected yet, and where did it come from. Okay. Now, on the topic of campaigns, I also want to mention how important these campaigns are to be, for lack of a better word, a town hall for your fundraiser. See, this amount raised, this $60,000 for this particular campaign, was not all raised online. We Did It enables you to collect offline donations, whether that be someone donating via check or cash directly to you, and then enter those in the back end towards a campaign. So if we're looking at our contributions here, we can go into offline entry. We can select a campaign, how much we're donating, whether that person wants a reward, because someone who donated via check should still be able to receive a reward, their first, last name, and email address. And then that offline contribution will then impact the thermometer on the campaign. Okay? So let's go ahead and take a look here at what it's like for you folks to sign up to the We Did It platform. So if you will, bear with me for just a minute. I have to sign out of my accounts here. I've already invited myself to be a community initiatives project. So you're going to see exactly what this would look like as if I were going through this, if I were a community initiative project building my first page. So you're going to get an email from We Did It that looks like this. Hello, your email address, Community Initiatives has invited you to We Did It. Please accept the invite through the link below. So the first thing we're going to get to is a sign up screen here. So my first name, my last name, my password, and then sign up. Okay, so the very first screen you're going to see is setting up your organization's account before you set up a donation page. So we're actually going to go ahead and pretend that we are Healthy Generations. So we're going to call this, though, Ben's Healthy Generations. I actually have a logo created, locked up here in JPEG. So we're going to upload my logo. We are going to also copy paste from my, excuse me, folks, from my site or from the community initiative site. I'm just going to drop in my mission statement. Space that out there. Now, I don't have my own URL, so I'm not going to enter that in. If I have a Facebook, you should drop that in here. That is how we enable the Facebook liking and sharing. Enter in your Twitter handle there, if you have one. Your mailing address, that will be in your tax-deductible acknowledgement receipt. Okay. Your city, your state, same. All of this part here is very important for those tax acknowledgement receipts. Okay. Your organization's phone number, we do not publish any of this data. This is just for We Did It internally. Your fax number, again, for We Did It internally. And then your email address. Now, you don't need to worry about your sponsor organization, your EIN. You are already under the community initiatives umbrella. Now, this next step is very, very important. This is creating your white label URL, okay? Once you create this, you cannot go back and change it. Your white label URL is the .wedid.it URL that you are going to create for all of your fundraising efforts going forward. Your standard donation page will be whatever word you type in here, .wedid.it. So you'll notice, let's take a look here again at the LA Zoo. As an example, they are lazoo.wedid.it. Then there is educationworks.wedid.it. So it's this word that you are writing in right now that you cannot change afterwards. So make sure that you get it right the first time. So let's go in here. Because I'm doing Healthy Generations, but it's my version, I'm going to do Healthy Ben. So my URL will be healthyben.wedid.it. Any campaign that is run will be healthyben hyphen. The system will generate a 4-digit number, .wedid.it. Okay? So let's create that. Now, the very next step is going to be to actually create the content of my donation page itself. Now, you'll notice we've logged in now. We have no Facebook, Twitter likes. We have no data because we have no page yet. It's just been created. So we're going to drop in here to our navigation dropdown, and we're going to go to our donation page. The first place we're brought is analytics. We have no analytics yet because we have no traffic. We're going to click on the analytics drop down here, and we're going to go to our settings. Okay. Text for donation panel header. So this header here if you type in any words, we'll actually put text in here. So Education Works chose not to. It is not required, but we can. So we're going to say, for a healthier Ben. Then we can drop in our description or mission statement of our organization. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and use again the default text that was actually just pulled from Community Initiatives page. You can't see I'm off on my other screen here just copying text. And I'm going to paste it in here. And I'm going to go ahead and create a paragraph there. But I'm also going to push this down one, put my cursor to the top. I'm going to insert my logo here. I don't have my own website. I'm using Community Initiatives website, so I need to make the branding unique. So I'm going to go into my image uploader, choose my file, grab my logo again. There we go. And it's a little big, so I'm going to resize it. Let's see, I like that. We'll be able to preview it. If we don't like the size, we can edit it later. But really, really simple there. Drop down my open campaign donation message. This is the email that they will receive. Thank you so much for donating. And then we're going to use a post-donation image. Because I don't have a video yet, so we're just going to start with an image. But the really nice thing is I can change this at any time. So we're going to browse here. I'm going to grab this image. I like this one. And for default amounts, most of my donors, I really cater towards wealthier donors. So I'm going to say minimum amount is 50, 100, 250, 500. I have wealthier friends. I probably could go a little higher because the Healthy Ben Foundation really tends to go towards the wealthier donors. So we're gonna leave it there to be safe. Then we hit update. So we're gonna give it just a second, and we're actually gonna go here. Give it a second. We're gonna go to healthyben.wedid.it. And there we go. Right away, already built with the Community Initiatives branding. My logo, my About Us, and our three-step process. And if we skip right ahead to the thank you, there's our thank you image. Our contribution has been processed. Now you'll notice we're missing all of our social media buttons because I do not actually have social media accounts for Healthy Generations. But if we did, we would have just dropped in those URLs and those would appear there. Okay. So really, as you can see, creating your donation page is very, very simple, very user-friendly, and very easy. Now I see some questions have come in here. Adam asks, I think he was referring to the mobile app. It's not for the casual user to get. Adam, you are correct. The mobile app is not for just the casual user. It is for people that you have a relationship with already because you are creating an account for them. So maybe you have a board member who says, I'm going to host a cocktail hour, at my cottage in Lake Tahoe this weekend, and I want to ask people to donate. You say, great, Mr. Board Member, here's a URL to download this app. I'm going to set you up with an account. I really ask that you take donations through that app so I can track them. So Elizabeth Young asked, is there a fee taken from campaign donations? There is. We have worked out a fantastic deal with Community Initiatives. I will go ahead and let them share with you the fees, but there is a fee. It is a fraction of that of something like an Indiegogo. And as you notice, we do allow donors to cover the merchant fee, that is the credit card fee. So a really great question here about if we want to make a change in the default branding, can we? So Adam, great question. So we have actually arranged with Community Initiatives that by default, everyone gets Community Initiatives branding. But if you would like, for just a fee of $250, we can actually build the white labeling template to match your website. So your donation page will actually match your website's look, feel, colors, fonts, and everything. So that brings up a really good point, and something I realized that I just did forget to go over here, and that's some of the resources we have for you folks for getting up and running and being successful going forward. So the first thing that every one of you will get is this great PDF, table of contents, onboarding guide on getting started and building your donation page. Okay? These are the two manual things, which is creating your account, creating your donation page, and then we have how-to on all the other major functionality like managing users, building and editing campaigns, enrolling in the We Did It Academy, which I'll talk about shortly, managing your donors, peer-to-peer fundraising, the mobile app, and reference guides. And then we go down here and you'll see we do have contact for support. We have arranged that Gian at Community Initiatives will be your first line of defense and questions. He has made a fantastic effort over the last couple of weeks to really familiarize himself with the We Did It technology. So if you do have questions, we ask that you go to Gian first. If Gian can't answer them, he will either get in touch with us or you can get in touch with We Did It directly. We are always available via live chat, email, or telephone. Okay. Now, what's really neat about this PDF guide is you'll notice these click here's. They take you through to a dynamic, I'm just going to go ahead and pull this page up, FAQ designed specifically for community initiatives, where we have screenshots and videos of just about every question or feature in the platform, question you may have or feature of the platform, how to do everything. So we've really tried to make this really simple and user-friendly for you folks. Now, on top of this, we're really big on kind of being thought leaders on best practices in fundraising, which is why we have recently launched the We Did It Academy. The We Did It Academy is still young and new. It's probably about a month and a half, 2 months old, but we've got about 6 lessons in there so far. 5 lessons it looks like. And they range from everything from how to recruit peer-to-peer fundraisers to how to run a peer-to-peer fundraising campaign to how to identify major gift prospects. And you folks, as We Did It customers, will have completely free access to every course in the We Did It Academy. We actually do charge for courses in the We Did It Academy for non-We Did It clients, but all We Did It clients have free access for life to the We Did It Academy. So I want to hop back over here. I just got a question in from Julie. Does We Did It interface with any donor database CRMs like Salesforce or Razor's Edge? That is a great question, Julie. We Did It will be interfaced with Razor's Edge in a roughly 2 to 3 weeks. And then our time frame for Razor's Edge is mid-August to September 1. So right around the corner, we have integrations for both Razor's Edge and Salesforce. So you will not need to worry about exporting this data and manually entering it, but it'll interface directly with your CRM. So Karen just asked, what about other donation amounts other than the suggested? Is there a box for other, lesser, or greater donation amounts? So good question, Karen. If that wasn't clear, I want to show you here that other is possible. You are not limited to those 4 amounts. As you'll notice, this is a text box. So I can change this to whatever I want. $2,500. And I can make that donation right away. Okay? So these are just the suggested ones to make it easy, but donors can enter in any amount they like. So for the most part, folks, I've given you the the high level overview of the functionality of the platform. But I want to stop here and start to field questions from you folks. Because I know we have a decent sized group today. So we have, I think, about 30, 45 minutes, I think maybe even up to an hour for questions. But based on our trial webinar on Tuesday, we got quite a few questions. So I want to make sure that we leave plenty of time for that now. So I'd love to open up the floor. Please use the questions box, and I will go through all of these. So a great question came in. Can I keep my Indiegogo account and have We Did It? The answer is, can you? Yes. Should you? No. The reason you should not keep your Indiegogo account is multiple fold. One, if you are using a CRM, you're going to want that data integrated into one place, one system of use. Okay, it's a minor reason, but a major reason is donation and campaign pages that are branded see average gift size that are 38% larger than generic pages on things like PayPal, Indiegogo, Razoo, platforms like that. Donations that are made on fully branded donation pages increase the likelihood that someone will give again by 66% versus generic donation pages, campaign pages on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, platforms like that. So very, very important that you're using a fully branded platform. Now, I think a really interesting thing to look at here is some of the success that We Did It has had with its clients. The average minimum increase in online donations for our clients is 32%. Then we have clients like LA Zoo who have put in a lot of effort. The LA Zoo has increased revenue to its annual appeal by 269% in the last 14 months. So We Did It has a serious track record of great success with their platforms. Another great question came in. Do we take PayPal? The answer is no. We have an exclusive merchant partner, which is WePay. PayPal is something that we may consider, but if we do get to it, it probably won't be until Q4 of this year. We have had some requests for it, but it's currently not something we're working with. PayPal does not have a really great track record of working with nonprofits. They have far too many cases of freezing individuals' accounts for little justification or little to no basis. Because of that, and because of their severe lack of quality customer support, we did not feel they were a partner that met the needs of our clients, or one that we thought was a good partner, in terms of meeting the customer success or the customer relation quality of standards that We Did It has. So what other questions do you folks have? I'm sure the wheels are spinning, but so far some really great questions. Hopefully this has been really informative, and hopefully you all see this as a great and a new platform to be using, as well as one that's going to be easy for you to get up and running on. So another great question came in. Can I use We Did It, WePay for transactions like memberships, t-shirt sales at events? The answer is absolutely. So you can have an unlimited number of fundraising campaigns going at any time, campaigns like this. And because you can set up rewards, we actually track what someone purchases. So you'll know what that $250 gift was for. You don't have to associate $250 with a commemorative pin. It specifically would tell you that that donor chose that commemorative pin, because we do give the ability for the donor to say, here's $250, keep your reward, I don't want it. Or here's $250, give me the $100 reward. So you can build out a campaign, link that with the mobile app, and take a donation at the door for a ticket sale, for a t-shirt sale, or for a membership. Let me share with you a great example about how one of our platforms, I'm going to go to their homepage. One of our clients is using multiple donation pages and campaign pages. So we're going to go to get involved here. Donate today. This is Laura's house. They're located in Orange County. So you'll notice they have general donations in honor or memory of Hope Golf Tournament, annual gala. So if we look here at the golf tournament, so they have a fundraiser going where they allow people to actually buy tickets here. to golf. Now, I want to be clear about something. This is not a ticketing focused product. This is not an event focused product. We do not yet have a ticketing or event platform. We are planning on one. We're planning on launching one probably closer to the end of Q4, the end of this year. But there are workarounds. Because we offer rewards, you can actually offer goods in return for donations. Okay? So you'll notice Laura's House, they've got something here for their golf tournament, but they also have a standard donation page for an honor of memory of. And then they have a general donation where they're actually using a campaign for that. Okay? So you'll notice several different usage here for the donation technology. You can have an unlimited number of campaigns live at any time. You also, speaking of unlimited, one of the things I want to make sure I go over, let's hop into the back end so I realize I don't want to forget anything here. Users. So the individual who sets up your account does not necessarily need to be the only person that uses it. Whoever gets invited is the one that's going to need to set up. You cannot forward an invite to someone and have them set it up. It will be unique to your email address. But once you are signed up and the account is created, you can actually invite new users to build your donation page and manage all your campaign pages. Really, really, really easy. Same as inviting a mobile user. Really easy to get other users, and we allow for an unlimited number of users to use the platform. So Adam asked this question. Sorry I didn't answer it earlier, Adam. I did actually almost forget about it, so thank you for posing it again. If and when we go to a full 501c3 in the future, what's the ability to transfer over from the Community Initiatives umbrella? We do have that ability. So you will be able to transfer your account over if and when you become a full 501c3. You'll just need to get in contact with us. That is not a feature or functionality on the back end. That is manual work the tech team will need to do, but we can absolutely transfer you over. So what other questions do you folks have about the usage of the technology, its abilities, its features, or any feedback today on the webinar would be fantastic. I really want to make sure all of this is really easy for you folks to comprehend, really wrap your heads around, as well as make it really easy for you to onboard and get started here as soon as possible. The goal, the timeline is to have all projects on the We Did It platform by the end of June. So a question here from Lauren Gibbs, can projects run photo contests on We Did It? Like GoGo Photo Contest. Lauren, I have to be completely honest. I'm not familiar with GoGo Photo Contest. So for that reason, I'm going to say no, photo contests is not a functionality that we have. So great question that came in here. What do donors receive after donating? They receive an email receipt generated by us, one that you folks can customize. It will include your organizational logo, any text that you entered in for them to receive, your it'll be Community Initiatives EIN, the name, the gift amount, and then if they were to receive a reward, the value of that reward, and then the actual tax deductibility amount. I'm sure the wheels are turning over there. Everyone's thinking about how they can get up and running with We Did It. But please, there is no such thing as a stupid question, no such thing as a silly question. I'm sure if you're thinking it, someone else is as well. So please don't hesitate to speak up. I want to hear your questions and make sure that everyone is fully prepared to be successful with the We Did It platform. So someone just asked, can I show an example of the receipt? I don't happen to have one of those in my email now, but I'm happy to have Mark generate one and send that around. We can have Mark forward that to community initiatives, and we can have then community initiatives forward that to all of you folks. So question here, can we talk a bit about the effectiveness or importance of social shareability? Absolutely. So a really interesting thing, I think I talked about how 72% of people will give to a fundraising campaign if asked by a friend or family member. Now, I really want to clear the air here on social fundraising. Facebook and Twitter are predominantly tools for keeping people aware of what's going on in your organization. They're there for brand awareness, and they're important with peer-to-peer fundraising. Nonprofits communicating directly to donors with social media, it is not an ineffective channel for fundraising, but it is the least effective channel. So don't confuse least with ineffective. It is not completely ineffective, but it has the lowest conversion rates and the lowest average donation size for a nonprofit to share directly to their audience. Now, that changes dramatically when we're talking about peer-to-peer fundraisers. Okay, social media then is approximately 4 to 5 times more effective when individuals are asking their own friends and family members to donate via social media. Now, with that being said, it is still not as effective as direct communication through things like Facebook Messenger or things like email, which is actually the most effective way to digitally fundraise, is through email. I think there's been, and I want to bring that up because there has been historically this idea of platforms like Kickstarter that have these campaigns that have gone viral. All too often, those campaigns really have been generated because someone is pre-ordering a good. So, there is this kind of not negative connotation, but this common misconception, I guess is a better way to put it, that Facebook and Twitter are your key to successfully fundraising. And really, they're just one cog in the wheel. They're just one kind of spoke in that wheel, one piece of the puzzle in order that you need to be effective. But they're much more effective at keeping people aware and abreast of what you're doing. So that way, when you ask them to donate, you're at top of mind because they've seen that great content you've been putting out via social, those videos, those images, those funny posts, those shares. You're at top of mind when you do ask them to donate via something like an email. So a question came in here, how do you access fundraising coaches? So we, as a part of the community initiative subscription, community initiative projects will not have direct access to a fundraising coach, but they do have access to the We Did It Academy and all of the We Did It documentation. Now, for technical or account support, you can visit the We Did It website, live chat, and you will also have the direct contact information of Mark Shreve, the Director of Client Success. With that being said, as we discussed earlier, and all of this can be found in your PDF, we do ask that your first line of defense be going to Gian at Community Initiatives. From there, we will pass you on to the We Did It team for further support, if Gian can answer your questions. So Julie just asked, is there a maximum limit for donations? Julie, I'm going to ask you to re-ask that question. By limit, do you mean, is there a maximum limit to the number of donations you can receive? Is there a maximum size a donation can be online? Please clarify that question for me. So Bob Stiers, it looks like you have your hand up here. I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Let me know if you have a problem right now with audio or video. Bob, is everything okay there? Can you hear me, Bob? I see your hand up. Bob Stiers, are you there, bud? Okay, I'm gonna remute you, Bob. That might have just been a mistake. So maximum amount, Julie, great question. So you had a service that 10K. So no, we do not have a maximum amount. With that being said, what in our experience, banks, not our merchant processor, but the bank will oftentimes flag donations $10,000 or above. So what happens is, unless that individual has a history of making transactions of that size, oftentimes the bank will flag it, and the donor will have to call their bank to have them clear it. So I think Bob here is asking, our members have regularly scheduled donation amounts. So we do enable, regular reoccurring donations. I know you're receiving some of those now with Network for Good. We Did It is in the process of working with community initiatives on moving those reoccurring donors over from Network for Good to We Did It. So that is something that we are actively working on. We'll hopefully have an update by the end of next week on next steps for that. But look out for something from us in the next week or two on how we're going to be moving your donors from Network for Good to We Did It, your reoccurring donors. Oh, so Bob asked, as a part of that, are you able to use our program to invoice members? So we cannot directly invoice them, but obviously we can send them to the donation page, give them instructions on making that reoccurring donation. We Did It in community initiatives will work with you folks on how we're going to make that messaging and process really seamless for your donors. So really good question came in here. Do we have a referral program? So We Did It has just newly launched a referral program. We will send you documentation on this once we finalize the documentation. But we are in kind of the beta phase of our referral program. But the referral program is actually a great opportunity for you folks as projects to earn money back to your organization. The We Did It referral program will actually allow We Did It to donate a portion of a contract size back to your organization. The way that will work is, if you actually have a referral, we will have a format and a process for you making a direct email introduction to a member of the We Did It staff to your friend or colleague or coworker who works at an organization that you feel will be a good fit. After that email introduction, they will go through a demo. If that organization then signs on, we will then write a check for 20% of the contract value, up to $2,000, back to your organization as a thank you for making that referral. So I'm just taking a pause here, guys, because I'm sure there are some questions. You guys are probably racking through your brains on all of the functionality of Network for Good and other platforms you've seen. So I do just want to take some time to allow you folks to ask some questions here. I really encourage you to ask any question that you may have on your mind. Don't put it off. This webinar is being recorded, so even if maybe no one else at this webinar is thinking about it, I'm sure one of the other 100 projects at Community Initiatives will have the same question. So please, I encourage you to speak up now with any questions you may have. So great question here from Adam. Integrations with MailChimp or other newsletter platforms? The answer right now is currently no. We do have that in the pipeline, though, folks. We'll probably be tackling MailChimp first and then Constant Contact. We do not have an estimated delivery date for that yet, but we will keep you updated on that. I think one of the things We Did It prides itself on is the constant innovation of our platform and adding new features. So I am sure that within the next 6 months, you will all be very impressed with the new features we launched down the pipeline. With that being said, what I would like to mention is once you folks start using the We Did It platform, if you have any ideas for features to make it more powerful or features you'd like to see, we always want to hear that. Every single tool we have ever built, from our mobile app to our crowdfunding tools to our donation page, we have built with the nonprofits that are using it. The very first iteration of our software 4 years ago was built with a focus group of 100 nonprofits. We build our technology with our clients, not for our clients. Great question came in here. How do I disconnect my Network for Good account? I will then leave that up to community initiatives to walk you through that, folks. As we said, there is a estimated date of the end of June for onboarding you and moving away from community initiatives. But I'm going to go ahead and unmute community initiatives folks there in the conference room so they can go ahead and jump in and have any comments on disconnecting your Network for Good account. So Galen or Teresa, if either of you want to jump in there.
Sure, I'll jump in. This is Galen. I'll talk about next steps because that question is really part of a series of steps we'll be going through in the rollout and the implementation of We Did It. We've segmented projects into 4 groups with similar characteristics depending on whether the project has its own website or the donation page will be hosted on the Community Initiatives website. We're working with projects who have a higher volume of donations and projects that have a lower volume of donations and those kinds of characteristics to make sure that the rollout is smooth and as coordinated as the implementation of new platforms can be. We will send out invites, as Ben mentioned earlier, to set up the account and to create the main donation page. And then, depending on which group the projects are a part of, we'll be coordinating with you around the timing of the switch from Network for Good to We Did It.
Great. Thank you so much, Galen, for jumping in there. I'll allow you guys to actually go ahead and mute yourselves so you can jump back in without me having to unmute you with any questions going forward. So, guys, I know there's got to be some questions because the webinar today is about 5 times larger than yesterday, and there were a lot of questions yesterday. So I know you folks definitely have some questions you have not posed yet. So please, please, I encourage you, speak up. Again, if you have questions after the webinar, you can always get in touch, but now is the best time to get these things out and clarified. So great question. If I get a custom template, how much does it cost per year? Actually, it is not an annual fee for the custom template. It is a one-time setup fee of $250. But if you get let's say next week you get a custom template for your website, and then 6 months from now you get a website redesign, you would then have to pay an additional $250. So it is a $250 fee for every time you want a brand new template. Some really great questions so far, guys. So I'd love to see maybe here if anyone has any questions about the campaign fundraising. I'm really thinking, this is going to be a huge piece of differentiator from what you had functionality-wise from Network for Good, and being able to bring all of this in-house and offer some much stronger functionality. I think one of the things I want to mention, a big difference. And let's go here. We'll look at LA Zoo as an example between, those you were using Razoo or, oops, I'm going to go actually, using Razoo or Indiegogo. There's a big difference here that can make a very big impact on giving. So we'll look at a live campaign from the LA Zoo, some functionality that you're not going to get with something like an Indiegogo. And that is, as a part of a campaign, donors can actually make reoccurring donations. So you're not just giving an opportunity for them to make a reoccurring donation as a part of donating on your site, but as a part of any campaign that you launch, they can make a reoccurring donation. So really good question here. If I travel to Canada, can I accept foreign currencies on the mobile app? Yes, you can accept foreign. Well, everything is converted to USD by WePay. So everything will be a USD charge. So if you accept a credit card donation in Canada, that individual would or could be charged a currency exchange fee through their credit card. So if any of you ever traveled abroad and used your credit card and you'll notice some of those fees on your credit card, that would be the case in Canada because this would be a US-based account and a US-based processing account as well. So it would be seen as a US charge. So more questions from the group here. So really great question. And a lot of these are fantastic. I think I've gone over some of them, but I'm really glad that we're going to reiterate them here because I want to make sure you guys are really clear on some of the options you have. So delegation. Again, to be really clear, we go into the users tab in the back end here. You have the ability to enable anyone on your staff to use this platform. Whoever is invited via community initiatives will have to go through that first step of creating the organization, the info like the Facebook or the Twitter or all of that. But actual designing the page, inviting other users, all of that, that can be done by anyone else on your staff. You'll just need to sign up and invite another user. They can then log in and finish making the donation page for you. If you would prefer that someone else go through this entire process, you'll need to let community initiatives know and ask them to send the invitation to that individual instead. So Martha says, stupid question. Definitely not a stupid question. Really good question. Does the campaign section have the ability to separate into different accounting departments automatically online? Or do we have to designate the department through community initiatives? So if I understand this correctly, and I might actually unmute community initiatives for this one, or if you unmute yourselves, we do have the ability to add accounting codes to the campaigns. Community initiatives will have to add those accounting codes for you. Can one of you, it looks like you just unmuted, can one of you jump in and maybe clarify if I'm not understanding this question correctly?
Sure. This is Galen again. Yes, at the time a new campaign is created, we will work with projects to set up the appropriate general ledger account, FSP code, and any department codes that need to be applied to that.
Great. Thank you so much, Galen. So Martha Hoppin, if that didn't answer your question, just let me know. But I wanted to pass that on because I thought I knew the answer, but that's more on the CI side. So another good question about users, how many unlimited? We're really big on, we're not big on ceilings. We're not big on limits here at We Did It. You know, unlimited campaigns, unlimited users. You know, the more people you have to be able to leverage this technology for you, the better. The more campaigns you have live, the better. You know, we really want you to be able to be successful. You know, I'm sitting here, folks, and I'm also racking my brain and seeing if there's anything I've missed. Mr. Mark Shreve, I'm going to unmute you. Our Director of Client Success. You get a lot of common questions, Mark. Can you jump in and tell me if there's anything I've missed here?
You've been pretty comprehensive. That one about what donors receive after donating was one. One that you may have mentioned this, but how a donor would cancel a monthly or quarterly recurring donation, and just how recurring donations are facilitated. We get asked that a lot.
Thank you, Mark, for bringing that up. I'm gonna mute you, Mark. I'm gonna answer that question. That is a great one. An interesting feature here. So we don't do logins like community, we don't do like accounts and logins like Network for Good. Sorry, I blanked out there for a second. Like Network for Good. Instead, there is a link in every email receipt made for a recurring donation every time the donation is made. So if you make your donation on the 15th of the month and it's made on the 15th every month going forward, every email receipt will have a link in it where they can cancel that donation. So they can cancel it anytime, either from a previous email or from their most recent email. Thank you, Mark. Really, really good point. That is a common question. So I'm seeing about maybe a little more than half of the folks have not yet asked a question. I'm hoping that's either because I've done a fantastic job, or because this is all already super intuitive. Otherwise, please feel free to speak up. So great question about, I want to just talk again about or great comment about the Academy. The Academy is still very new. It's maybe a month and a half old, but we already have 5 courses already. You'll notice they're everything from how to identify major gift prospects. These include narration and slide shares, all of these classes, how to hit your personal fundraising goals. Then we have some stuff on We Did It, types of We Did It fundraising pages. How to run a peer-to-peer fundraising campaign, and don't confuse that with how to recruit peer-to-peer fundraisers. Those are 2 very different classes. First, you need to recruit, then you need to run. But very valuable stuff here, and we are constantly adding courses. I'm looking to my head of marketing, who is not around. I was going to get a thumbs up on how frequently, but I believe we're adding, probably 2 classes a month at this pace right now. And I did just get a thumbs up. So we're getting about 2 classes a month in the We Did It Academy. So another question, how soon can I access my funds? One of the differences between us and Network for Good is they mail out checks. Funds are available in real time, but as you all know, Community Initiatives collects those funds first. So please, Community Initiatives, if you want to answer that one on how frequently, or if you're making any changes on fund distribution.
This is Galen again. No, there will be no change. The funds will be recorded similar to the way that the Network for Good funds have been recorded and available to the projects as they come in.
Great. Thank you, Galen. So I'm wondering if there's any questions about the mobile app, the ways it can be used, maybe about peer-to-peer fundraising or about the donation page. I'll tell you, one of an interesting kind of thing we've noticed with the mobile app, and I'll speak, from my own experience, and I don't think I mentioned this yet. The mobile app, when used at a gala, and the first person to see do this after we launched the app was the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship, which is a national nonprofit with, I believe, 9 offices around the country. And for their New York City office, which is their largest, their biggest gala, they get about 350 attendees, and it's about 35 tables. They were putting one iPad per table. And one of the kind of a couple of the things we noticed that we did not suspect were, one was people were having a lot of fun donating through the app because of that image recognition technology. And the average age in the room was 50, 55 years old. So, the technology definitely did not scare anyone off, but if anything, it made donating more fun. But the other thing that we noticed was the kind of artificial or social pressure that was created because there's only one iPad per 10 people. You now really can't hide from it. I can tell you from personal experience, when I first started We Did It 4 years ago, I didn't really have 2 nickels to rub together when I started this company. But I got invited to a lot of galas, and this is before the We Did It mobile app, I used to take my pledge card and I'd hide it under my plate, kind of like I was trying to hide vegetables from my mom. But you can't do that with the mobile app. And it's pretty interesting to see how many more donations people are getting. Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship increased donations for their live ask by 68% the first year they used the mobile app. They averaged $1,000 a minute for an hour. So really interesting kind of byproducts of the way people are interacting with this technology. Question came in, will the app work on BlackBerry or PC phones? The answer is no, it will not work on BlackBerry. As you all know, BlackBerry did declare bankruptcy, so that is not a high usage product. Windows phones, again, not a high usage product. Right now, we are only on Apple. That means iPhone, all of the iPhones, all of the iPads. And we are looking at Q4 for an Android launch. So more questions? Anything about the mobile app, maybe? The Academy? I know we're about an hour and 40 minutes in, so I see questions are starting to slow down. But I do, before we do any wrap-ups here, I do want to make sure that all of you folks have a chance to jump in. I want to give it here. Don't worry, my microphone is still working, but I'm just sitting here kind of. I want to wait for you folks to jump in. I would definitely want to give it a couple more minutes before we wrap up. So I'll let you folks kind of mull it over, think it over. If you have any more questions, please jump in. I do encourage you all, as soon as you get the documents from community initiatives, which includes the Zendesk, which is the living, breathing document, if you have suggestions for this, please send them along. If you feel like it's missing anything, please give suggestions. This is a living, breathing document. We can change at any time. But we'd love feedback on that, and we'd love feedback on the PDF guide. So really good question that just came in. What happens if I change my subdomain after setup to match a new website URL? You actually can't. Once you set it, it is set. If you want to change it, you have to go through us. And if you go through us, you'll have to go through me, and then I'll have to go through my CTO, and I'll have to get yelled at by my CTO, which is something I don't want. So we do ask that you really think long and hard about that URL. Make sure you spell it correctly the first time. Don't worry, we can change it for you, but it is not good for the website indexing. So we do ask that you really make sure you know that URL the first time around. Now, again, we can change it in the future. If you build a site in the future, if you have a new URL, of course, it can be changed. It is not a simple change, and it is not a good change to make, but it can be done. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. I want to open the floor back up to Galen, who's got some closing words. But thank you so much. I really, really hope this was helpful, folks. And please reach out with feedback, questions, comments. We're really looking forward to onboarding you all and working together and being really, really successful over the next 12 months together.
I'd first of all like to say thank you to Ben, Mark, and the We Did It team for the webinar today. It's been very interesting to watch it again, even though Gian and I have been involved in this implementation project for some weeks now. We hope projects that you found it useful. Thank you for taking part of your afternoon to look at the We Did It platform and begin to think about your implementation of the fundraising functionality that you'll have now. As I mentioned, next steps, look for the invite that will be coming over the next couple of weeks. We want to make sure that the process is as smooth as possible and have lined up resources, some of which you've heard about already. Gian will be the first point of contact at community initiatives as you go through the setting up your account process and creating your fundraising page. We Did It, as Ben said, is also available and ready to assist. And the live chat window we found helpful in doing some of our testing and looking and learning about the functionality. And then we also have arranged with a third-party web designer to assist projects with making changes to links. If you don't have an existing relationship with another tech person who manages updates to your website and provides other kind of technical assistance. So please contact Gian if you need some assistance with linking the donate button on your website if you have one. If you are hosted on the Community Initiatives website, that will be all transparent to you. We'll make sure that that happens. And then recall that your program services team is always available to, team members always available to coordinate assistance as we move through this process. So thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.